Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers, sisters, and friends. Hope you're well, hope you're good on this Friday afternoon. Today's guest, who have I got on in the limelight? Obviously, I changed various dates, so some of the dates might be on a Friday, some might be on a Sunday. It depends when I can get hold of somebody and whenever somebody wants to come on board for an interview. So, today I've got a very, very talented person. His name is Michael Paul Chun. He was born in San Francisco to a second generation Chinese parents in 1950. He co-founded the Asian American Theatre Company in San Francisco in 1973 with some other actors. In 1975 he began getting his guest television roles and since appeared in over 110 TV shows and films. His biggest role was in 2005 as a Lieutenant Mike Tao, lasted 13 years. A main character in The Closer, where he was appeared over 200 episodes and spun off two major crimes for another 100 plus episodes. He also starred in a series called Resident, which at this moment in time he's doing another part two in Atlanta. He's filming the fourth season in Atlanta. So let's see if we can get in touch with him.
Hello?
Hello, Michael. It's Nas from UCTV. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm good, man. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. All the way in Atlanta and all the way from UK. Having a good day?
Technology's a gas.
Yeah, man. So how's your filming going on in Atlanta this moment in time?
Actually, I wasn't supposed to work until tomorrow, but the schedule changed, and I worked all day yesterday.
Wow.
into the evening, but it was a simple shoot, so no problem.
That's good, man. I've just given a little briefing to my audience out there, to the youngsters and the elders, in regards to who you were, how you began your career. Mm-hmm. Just give us a little insight how you started.
Well, for an actor, I think I kind of started late. I was in my second or third year of college. As a kid, I was more of a musician. I was in rock and roll bands as a kid, as a teenager.
Cool. And
this was in the '60s, so we were influenced by British bands because that's what was going on.
Yeah.
Mid-'60s, Stones, Animals, Yardbirds. So that was basically my let's see, ages 14 through 17. I think every single weekend and most every day after school was at band practice or playing a gig at a high school or at a college fraternity at the UC Berkeley.
Wow.
And then we were quite successful in winning Battle of the Bands. So what that happened, so we got a reputation. So us and the other band that competed against us all the time, that was completely different.
Yeah.
We hired our own production company.
Right.
And started throwing dances. And the first dance we threw, we had to turn away 500 or 600 kids.
Wow.
So we started, so this went on for like a year, and when I was 16, we were rolling in the dough. This was when minimum wage was 75 cents an hour.
Wow.
And as teenagers, we were pocketing, a couple $100 every weekend.
Whoa, that's good money, man, for them.
Yeah, it was. And I don't know where it went when it all ended, but we were wearing really nice clothes and eating really good food.
Wow.
As I recall. And one of the shows that we did, which we won an award, Sally Field was the MC when she was doing The Flying Nun when she was a teenager.
Right.
So that was, I thought that was kind of another thing. And then, okay, then my mom passed when I was a teenager, and that kind of caused a bit of dysfunction.
Yeah.
So in my senior year of high school, I dropped out of the band, and because we were getting having long hair in Richmond in those days, and being a minority, you were always kind of avoiding hassles almost every weekend, and that became kind of, a big distraction.
Yeah.
So I got out of the band, and I needed to just get away. So I started surfing with another group of kids.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures of that,
Yeah, and that was kind of a lifesaver.
Fantastic. So basically,
so
basically, after your trauma,
excuse me.
After your trauma, after losing your mum at that time, to clear your head, you got into surfing. So that kind of opened the horizons for you a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it just kind of turned me on to another world, because this was during the '60s, and lots of stuff was going on. So then on to college.
Yeah.
And I was kind of floating around, not really knowing what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I got into another band, which was playing a different kind of music.
Wow.
And we started doing, and that band, I think the strangest memory was we were doing a benefit, and we did a benefit at the Fillmore Auditorium for the People's Temple.
Right.
Now, you remember what the People's Temple was? That was Jim Jones's outfit.
Right.
And that group that we played for ended up doing a mass suicide in Guyana.
Right.
If you recall that.
I won't recall that. I won't recall that because I'm a late '70s guy. I was born in '79, so this is very good history for us, especially the youth and the people of today. Yeah.
Right. So I was floating around in college, not really knowing what I was going to do, and then my brother, who was an Asian American instructor and English teacher at SF State, brought in a writer named Frank Chun, who was beginning to say, I think what we need as Asian Americans is a theater company.
Wow.
And I was like all ears. and then he started to write a kind of a guerrilla theater piece depicting Asian stereotypes in the media.
Did you get a lot of racism there?
I grew up with it. I think in my neighborhood, when we first moved into this house, we were the first Chinese American family to move into this neighborhood, and they all thought we had won the house in a contest.
Oh God!
My mom, growing up in San Francisco, Chinatown, worked in one of those curio shops, and she designed a line of blouses that sold like hotcakes. My aunt said,
yeah,
and she bought the store. And she put my dad through dental school.
Yeah.
Because my dad came from Nevada. He was sent to University of Nevada on an athletic scholarship because he was the star high school quarterback. This is a whole other story of his football team in Carson City, Nevada.
Wow.
But he got to UN and it was too small to play. So the missionary woman who had raised him in Nevada said, "You should move to San Francisco because you're Chinese, and that's what you are."
Right. Straight.
So he didn't speak Chinese.
Yeah.
But he moved to San Francisco and got a job driving a truck. And met my mom, and my mom put him through school. He went to UC Berkeley and dental school. Okay. And then, let's see, I'm an old guy, so I get tons of memories floating in when someone tells me,
I don't mind, Michael.
What about your life?
No, this is what we're here for, man. This is what we're here for.
So, okay, acting. Getting back to acting.
Yeah.
So my first thing was they had signed me to do was kind of a little poem of Fu Manchu.
Right.
And I had a mask on, and I had this thing, Fu Manchu, Sax Romer created me to be beaten by you. I'm an evil chink, and I lurk in the night. but so, blah, blah, blah. And I was getting a lot of laughs.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, I know how to do this. And I feel very comfortable doing this.
So you found your niche.
And I found my niche.
Yeah.
And because as a musician, I always knew that I was really mediocre.
Yeah.
And I did not have the, and I knew what it took to be a good musician, and I knew that's not what I had.
Yeah.
But once I found acting, I went, this I understand, and I kind of understood where I fit.
Yeah.
And it was a very good feeling.
Fantastic, man.
And so then I went to acting school, and then I quickly learned that this is going to take a while.
Don't worry, man. So what was the first, after you went to your acting school, what was the first major role that you got in a movie? How did you get scouted?
Well, I was in acting school, and then then I found through, once you're in acting school, you connect with other actors, and there's a lot of little chit-chat of what's going on around town.
Yeah.
So I was in San Francisco, and they were casting for a new TV series, and they were looking called Chun,
right,
which was a takeoff on Charlie Chan. Right. But they were looking for a son and a daughter.
Right. So
I auditioned and did a screen test. We went down to CBS in LA, and I didn't get that job, but they were casting. But they said, while you're here, they sent me over to Burbank because they were casting a show called Police Story.
Right.
And they needed Asian gang members. So I got that job.
Right.
So while I was in San Francisco, I got a call. So you got to come down to LA to shoot, 2 days on Police Story. So I flew down and did a couple days on the show called Police Story, which was quite a popular show at the time. And that was my first job.
Look at that.
And I worked with. I remember doing a scene with Robert Culp,
right,
who was a big who was quite well known. And the whole first job experience was quite terrifying and exciting.
So once you first landed that role, I bet you were very excited. Your family was very excited, and you thought, "This is it now. I'm breaking the mold now, slowly but surely."
Quietly, yeah. All of a sudden, especially in my little community,
yeah,
so and so's on national TV.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, all these other guys wanted to be actors.
That's it. That's what.
Which I thought was interesting.
That's what.
But I was kind of in my own little bubble of just trying to put my head to the grindstone and just kind of work at being at school. So after that happened, I kind of went back to school and just kind of forgot about it.
Yeah.
And after ACT, I moved down to Los Angeles, got hooked up with East West Players, started doing theater there, and then started going out on auditions.
Right, fantastic.
And the first 10 or 15 years, I was just doing a lot of episodic television, one-day jobs, two-day jobs, and just scraping by.
What we'll do is, Michael, we'll hold you there on the scraping by bit. I'm just going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with you. Stay on the line, yeah?
Sure.
Right, guys, we're just going to take a quick break and catch you back on the other side. welcome back, guys. Welcome back to UCTV with your brother Nas Khan. My special guest today is Michael Paul Chan, an elder who's experienced a lot through life and became one of the world's best good Asian actors at this moment in time. Hi, Michael.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Okay. Yeah, I've been going scattershot. It seemed like kind of a mixed bag of what I've been doing.
Yeah, so you got...
excuse me?
Yeah, you got to the point where you said you were doing 1 day, 2 days, trying to scrape by.
Yeah, and doing a lot of theater. Basically, your basic LA actor's life. Doing anything you can to stay active.
Yeah.
Studying, taking class, doing whatever is out there,
yeah.
and then my wife said she was pregnant, and then I had a son coming along.
Wow.
So things got really serious.
Yeah.
So I think when my son was born, something changed in my acting. I wasn't so life did not revolve around me.
Yeah.
So I was able to compartmentalize my work, which helped a great deal.
Yeah.
So when it was my time, it was my time. But when it was, it wasn't the most. Me was not the most important thing in my life.
Yeah.
Which was a big help. So then things changed dramatically.
Yeah.
I think the job that changed everything was there was an audition for a Korean grocery store owner.
Right.
And part of my thing was doing dialects.
Right.
Throughout my career.
Yeah.
Dialects kind of opened the doors for a lot of things because sounding like this, there were only certain parts available for someone who looked like me.
Yeah.
So I had to sound during that time like I was foreign or from a different country. So Korean grocery store owner.
Give us an example.
The director. Excuse me.
Give us a little example of what you meant there. Like your tone and your...
The price of the drink is 85 cents.
Oh. So you were speaking in your continental language, yeah?
Yeah. Just stuff that but I had to find a dialect that was
suited,
especially for Chinese, that was family oriented. That came from my family that I heard growing up.
Yeah, so basically that was suited to you. It was suited to you.
Yeah, because we'd all heard the stereotypical accent.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was not going to do that, and I had to do something that I could feel.
Yeah. Comfortable.
Well, true to myself, and because there's a responsibility to other Asian Americans.
Absolutely.
That you that you do it right.
Yeah, because you're representing your number one. Number one, you're representing your race, and number two, you're representing your family home.
Yeah, I take that responsibility. I don't take that responsibility lightly.
Absolutely.
So anyway, this job, they were having a hard time casting because, well, for whatever reason, my take on it was right, according to the director, and I got the job.
Fantastic.
And I was very naive about who was doing it, and then when I came home, my wife was teasing me. She said, "Oh, you got the job." I said, "Who's in it?" And then she started teasing me. She started dropping all these other names. But anyway, cut to the chase. The director was Joel Schumacher, right. And the scene was going to be the movie was falling down.
Yeah.
And the scene was going to be with Michael Douglas and Duvall.
Yeah.
So it turned out great. He took my scenes to the Cannes Film Festival. And then my career changed. because I was doing scenes with movie stars, basically.
Absolutely. So you stepped up the game, man.
And I kind of held my own.
Yeah, you stepped up the game, man.
So, and then that same year, I was cast by Oliver Stone in Heaven and Earth.
Yeah.
And I was the only American-born Asian in that film because I was able to do dialects.
There you go.
Because I was playing a South Vietnamese interrogator.
Yeah.
And I revoiced a couple of other characters in the film.
Yeah.
Because when you're doing a dialect, you can make it a little bit more understandable because your subtext is, English.
Yeah.
You're thinking in American.
Absolutely.
So you're putting that forward. And then a few months after that, see, this was 1993, and it was a very good year. I did the Joy Luck Club.
Yeah, I was 13 then, Michael.
Yeah, see, everyone I talk to nowadays, I'm always the old. I remember when I was a young guy.
Yeah.
But I was working with yesterday, and the guy who played my wife said, I'm older than you. I said, no. Because nowadays, I'm always the oldest guy.
Yeah.
But she said, nope, I got you by 2 years. I said, you're joking. But anyway, so that was the year that kind of started off my career.
Fantastic.
Doing those 3 films.
Then you got involved. You got involved in the ones that we were growing up to, like Goonies. Were you in Goonies?
Goonies happened when my son was 4 years old. I remember because he went to preschool and he got all the kids to play Goonies. They were going, "What's Goonies?" And they hadn't seen the movie yet. Because when he was a little baby, I took him to the pirate ship.
Right.
And I had to carry him because there was all these skeletons, and it was very scary for him. And he was burying his head into my shoulders, but I was kind of carrying him around and showing him everything.
Bless him.
And that was a movie that it was kind of almost an afterthought. That I was cast very late in the film, and just for the ending of the movie.
Yeah.
And when we were rehearsing the scene, Dick Donner said, let's do it in Chinese. I'm thinking, this was before cell phones.
Right.
And I don't speak Chinese.
Yeah.
and so I had to run to a payphone during a break and say, how do we say this? and one buddy said, we don't say that. And then I had to call up and I said, give me something to do here.
Yeah. So
I had to get translations because, just to get through it. But it worked.
It worked, yeah.
And it was in the movie, and it was a very sweet little scene.
Fantastic.
And to this day, especially when I was on the major crime set, some of the younger actors, when they find out I'm in Goonies, I get big props.
Absolutely. What was that main line then? Tell us that main line you said in Goonies.
It was in Chinese, and it was I think it was the translation was "You are my greatest invention."
Right.
I'm not sure if I said that, but that was the translation. And then I get kids coming up to me, well, especially, "You are my greatest," that kind of stuff. Either that or 85 cents. I'm falling down.
Yeah. No, that's good, man. That's good.
But Detective Tao kind of changed everything because I was playing a lot of villains on TV.
Yeah.
I was always playing the bad guy for most of the 90s. I would go from one cop show to another, shooting somebody or getting killed, and playing villains and vicious people.
Yeah, so that was Lieutenant Tao, wasn't it? Lieutenant Tao.
Excuse me?
Lieutenant Tao, that's what you're moving on to, yeah?
Right. Which came later in my career. I had done one other TV series before that called Robbery Homicide Division, which was Michael Mann, who did Miami Vice.
Oh, right.
That was his return. That was his return to TV.
Cool.
I had worked with Michael Mann on The Insider.
Yeah.
With Al Pacino and Russell Crowe.
Wow, how was it meeting Al Pacino?
We shot that in Israel.
Wow.
We went into Muslim villages,
Yeah.
and which was really interesting. And I think a lot of the places where we shot, I'm not sure if they're there anymore because there was a lot of drama going on and a lot of untruths. So I was kind of because the Muslims were very hospitable.
Absolutely. Did
and
you
very,
meet? Did you
they were
meet?
very sweet natured to us.
Michael, did you meet any Palestinians? Like you're saying, the Muslim Palestinians, did they? Like you're saying, they were. They give you hospitality and stuff. They were very good people. So obviously, you've seen the second side. So you've actually met them, yeah?
Oh yeah, they were inviting us in for tea.
Fantastic.
The Israeli bodyguards who were carrying sidearms were rather obnoxious.
Yeah.
So I went, oh, okay, I see what's going on here.
Yeah.
Imperialism firsthand.
Yeah.
But so I went, okay, I get this. I didn't want to stick around too much.
Yeah.
But that was the insider. And then I worked with Michael Mann on his first film called Thief with James Caan and Tuesday Wells. This was very early on in my career.
Yeah.
And that was exciting. And then I worked with James. That was after this was after Godfather, and I was like totally terrified of James Caan. And then years later, I worked with James Caan on Vegas.
Wow.
And we were older, and it was a lot more fun.
Yeah.
And recently, I think it was about 2 years ago, I worked with his son Scott on Hawaii Five-0.
Right.
And when they don't look alike, but when Scott starts acting, he looks so much like his father. It was stunning.
Yeah.
It kind of like I went whoa, in my head, because once he started moving around and acting, he says, oh, he becomes his father.
Wow.
Which is only natural,
Yeah.
But that was really interesting.
That's good, man. So you've done a lot.
But yeah, Lieutenant Tao became, he was that geeky detective. So that kind of had all these computer skills and all this jazz, and that kind of changed everyone's perception of what I do.
Yeah.
Which was fine. Being a hero is not bad.
So basically that was good because it gave you a different stereotype as well. So you were playing the bad guy and then you're playing the good guy, so you can pull off any role.
Yeah. And now I'm playing the dads of different people, right? I'm Malcolm Jamal Warner's stepfather.
Right.
On The Resident, and I'm MacGyver. I think MacGyver has a new girlfriend who's Vietnamese, and I played her father. So
right.
It's kind of coming full. It's all making sense.
So can you give us a little insight on The Resident season 4 you're shooting, aren't you now, in Atlanta?
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what's going on this storyline. We were introduced last season.
Yeah.
As his step parents, which was kind of a surprise because we when I was introduced, you see him in a Chinese restaurant, kind of eating by himself, and I kind of walk up to him and start teasing him, and then all of a sudden you realize after the scene, oh, these are his parents, which I thought was so cool.
Yeah.
And such great casting that they would, think of me as playing his stepfather.
Wow.
And I thought that was just terrific.
Well, I just want to say thank you very much, Michael Paul Chan, for giving us your time on UCTV. It's been an honor, to interview somebody who's a name in the game, if you know what I mean, and respect to you.
Thank you so much, Nassim. Appreciate it.
Any message you want to give out to the youth out there?
Follow your passions. Follow your passions. And I just hope that you end up loving what you do. That's the key to happiness.
Excellent message there, Michael. Excellent. Thank you very much once again, and enjoy your day.
Thanks, Nassim.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
And there you go, guys. Michael Paul Chan, all the way from Atlanta, giving me his time, spoke about his history, how he started in the 60s, way before I was born, and how he had a bit of racism. Then he spoke about his father, how he was studying, how he was playing football, and then he had to go to San Francisco because of Chinese. Then moving on to shooting his movie in Israel, and how he felt about the Palestinian Muslim people, how they were very welcoming. This is a very big thing coming from an actor starring in Goonies as well and Falling Down. So just want to say thank you guys for tuning in on my show In the Limelight. Stay blessed, stay safe, catch you again. Take care.